All right, so let's start again. File, new. Now, once you want to get in the habit of naming your thing, so I'm going to call this what I'm going to do a test poster. Our height is 11 inches by 8.5. We're working in inches, and the resolution will be 300. Okay. CMYK, I told you to write that down, and I told you to write down RGB. These are the different formats of color mode that you can use. For this particular piece, this is very important. It's on the test. It's going to tell you when working for a book or print, what color mode should it be in? The color mode should be CMYK. That means cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Make sure you write that down. It's on the screen. Okay. Cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Now I'm going to hit OK so I can start. So now I got the screen. This is my paper ready to rock and roll. So the first thing I want to do is bring an image in. Now when you're using Photoshop, you're working in layers. Now let's say you start and you don't see the layers. Everything that is missing is in Windows. Okay? So I'm going to go to Windows and I'm going to click on Layer. Layer is not showing, so I go here and I click on Layers. And here it is. This is called your panels. So on the test, it's going to tell you dock the layer panel underneath back into the panel. That's what they're going to ask you to do on the test. Right there. It's going to say maybe move the layer panel or whatever panel in front of history, or move history to the next side. You just grab it and move it. Notice that the background layer is what? Lock. You see the lock? To unlock that, you can do two things. You can double click and unlock it that way. But keep in mind, there's no shortcuts on the test. That young man that's talking so much, I need you to stop. You're killing me right now with the glasses. And you need to unplug. I'm about to call your parents. See me after class. All right, what's that? Who's that cursing? I must be hearing things. So now, as I was rudely interrupted, okay, so let's go back here. So we understand panels. Let's go here, File, Open. Now I'm going to bring an image in. So let's find an image we can bring in. I'm going to bring this image right in here. Notice that the image came in on a different document. I'm going to drag it back into the panel. You can move your panels around. Drag it. Okay. You can drag stuff out like that. So let's go ahead and pull that down. Just quit it. Yeah, I gotta clean my desktop. So File, New, we're set to go, bam. So now that's one way you could bring an image in. Another way you can just drag it into the screen. See? And once it comes in, you have to place it. Now notice that it's placed, but look what happened. You got this thing called the Smart Object. The Smart Object, there's nothing much you can do. You can't really edit this object because it's actually, it preserves the original format. But to edit this format, you have to then right-click replace, rasterize. There it is. Notice that the smart object goes away. So now I can alter this image and play around with it. Let's bring another image in. Drag another image in. Now this is another design I did. This is a good seller. I sold this to a lot of seniors in this high school, Stranahan High School. They wanted to do senior. Her thing is, don't be cheesy, focus on me. Bunch of girls got these. So if I click on this, notice that this layer is on the top. I can drag this to the top, and now it's on the front. Keep in mind, Photoshop is about layers, right? So I'm going to drag this piece back down. If I want to get rid of it, I click on the eye. If I want to bring it back, I click the eye. So let's take a look at this piece here. On your notes, what's the first thing we want? The first word I talked about on the stroke. Okay, so now we have the layer. We're going to stroke this image. You can do two things. Layer, layer styles, and find the word stroke. Here it is. Now this pops up. You can change the colors. Now if I want to alter the stroke, the size, I can click on the word stroke and I can change the size. See that? You guys see that? So I'm going to hit OK. That's how you stroke something. What's the next thing we're trying to do? On the notes, you're not following outer glow. Come on. I told you to write it down. See, we did that earlier. You should have took notes. That was when you first opened the page. Okay, so what's the next word? Outer glow. Outer glow, look at this. Outer glow, bam. You can do it two ways. Layer styles, outer glow. Or you can do this. Outer glow. Click on the color now. This is a trick now. Use the eyedropper to pick the color of the stroke. Hit OK. And then it's on screen. So we're going to move that to normal. Look what happens. You see? Hit OK. And now we have the outer glow applied to it. What else? Gradient. You double click. Layer styles is where you have a lot of cool features. Look at this. Gradient. Look what happens now to the gradient. 5 minutes to get in there. Gradient, look what happens. I got the gradient going up. I can click on the gradient and I can pick some customs that's already preset. But what if you don't like the customs? You make your own. So how you do that? You click on here, double click, you scroll up, pick the colors you want. I want to get rid of this color. I'm going to move this down. And I want to duplicate this color. To duplicate, you hold down Option and click. And I'm going to click on this. I'm going to change the color to a more nice green. And I'm going to hit OK. So that's you have a gradient. What else? What's the next word? Gradient. What's the next word? Oh, emboss. Here it is. You click on emboss, and I can scroll. It gives you a nice, and you have different effects. You can do smooth, strong. Okay. What else? Yes.
What's it called?
It's called Bevel and Emboss. Emboss. Where would you find that, guys? Layer styles. That's on the test. It's going to say, apply the boss to the piece. You have to know where to get it. That's all the test is. You got to know where to go and click. What else? Hue saturation. Good one. Now, to do hue saturation, remember this is a smart object, so let's take that off. You can right click. To right click on the Mac, you have to hold down Control, click, and then you rasterize. So now I can edit this image now. So I will go to File, I go to Image, Adjust, Hue Saturation. Now, when you take notes, you write down Image, a dash. When I was in my class, you got a lot of ways to do things. So I'm just showing you. I will write Image. Bam. Then what's the next step? Adjust. What's next? Hue. You see that? That's how you take your notes. It makes your life easy. You can flow a little quicker. And you know how to do that. Now, why hue saturation? Now, Emily Torres. So hue saturation is good because a client might say, you know what? I want you to change some colors. And you can use this real quick to do. You see that? Just by moving it, woo, a whole nother design. You know, I get this a lot. I got some red sneakers. I need the design to be red. Sure. We make it red. Or you want it to be green, purple. Oh wow, ooh, that purple looking. See, I like that purple. Ooh, that's a new design, baby. Oh, this is next level stuff. Next level stuff. You guys are ready for this. Ooh, look at that blue. And that's using what, guys? Hue saturation. What else? The magic wand. Look at this. This can be your best friend in Photoshop. The magic wand is in the toolbar. So I can click on the area that I want to alter. See that? It allows you to select the same pixels that's the same hue, that's the same color. Then I can come here and I can go edit, fill, and I can fill that into a color. Let's do the foreground color. And that's what I did. I'm just using the what? What tool? Magic wand. If you click on the magic wand, hold it down, you have something called the quick selection tool. Look how this works. This is a cool one. This is new. You can just click and drag. But you can drag the area that you want to select. Highlight the area you want. Okay? If I want to deselect this, I go to select and I hit what? Deselect. Okay? What else? What are questions we have on it? Speak louder, please. Shh, what? Go ahead. Okay, now good question. To make the cheese a different color, you gotta click on because this whole image is one image. I went ahead and flattened this image. But when in the design stage, if I wanted to do that, I have to take my magic wand and select the area or use the quick selection tool and select the area. See right there? And now it's just selected. I can alter that image. I go here. You see? You see what I just did? If you want to make it white, you go to Edit, Fill, White. All right? Now, I just gave you some basics. Now, Now this image, now this happens a lot. You're working on a project and you, Mr. Parris, it's not, I can't edit this because you have something selected. That's why you can't move forward. Okay, that's important to know. Now, when it's time to save, oh, history is nice. Let's take a look at history. You could always go back to where you first started, the original. You can always go back where you left off using the history tool. Okay? Now, to save this, I go to File, Save As, and you save 3 versions. You save a PSD, which is the Photoshop file, because when you work on projects in my class, I'm going to say, where's the PSD file, because you have to make a change on this. If you don't save it like that, it's hard to go back and edit the stuff because it's all one image. Now, if you save it as a JPEG, and PSD preserves the layers. That's important to know on the test. See how I have the layers? I can click here, I can change stuff. PSD, which is Photoshop, preserve the layers. If I go to File, Save As, JPEG merges and it compresses the document into one, so it flattens the layers. The JPEG flattens the layers. It becomes one. You can't go back and edit after you save it that way. And then PNG saves, when you go to Save for Web, you got to use PNG 24. Write that down. That's on the test. PNG 24 is the highest format for saving a PNG graphic, which means transparent graphic. It means a transparent background. And then you hit PNG. See, it gives you PNG 8. Okay. Is the highest one just for transparent background. You won't see red. If you have a background that's red, remember PNG gives you a transparent background. It doesn't give you the white background. Remember that. You use what file should we use? PNG 24 or PNG. Quit.